Hi, everybody. Ken's supposed to be joining me here in the office, but he isn't here yet. So just thought I'd let you guys know.
Who's joining you, Sally?
Ken, Ken Brenner.
Ken Brenner?
Yeah,
I talked to Ken yesterday. He was in Phoenix.
he was here yesterday. He was in my office Well, maybe I don't want to get him in trouble.
Hmm.
But he may have been in my office yesterday also.
Oh,
So
I thought he told me he was in Phoenix. Maybe I misunderstood.
he gets confused. Um,
Hey.
all right. Perfect timing.
Ah.
Let's see who's all here. I think Kristen Jesperson is planning on coming, but she can just join us, and hopefully Patrick Stanko will be here. I invited him. If he can't come today, then he'll watch the video and catch up on things. So, but yeah, I'll stick
So,
these over
Steve,
here.
what are you going to do with Savannah Guthrie's mom?
The reward's not big enough for me to give her back yet.
I knew it.
Here's
Yeah,
Patrick.
that happened about 18 miles from me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's right there.
In Tucson?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're north, but we're up the mountain range quite a bit. She's just around the foothills, like you're going to Sabino Canyon or something.
Huh.
Yeah, she's not very far out of Tucson
Sounds like a
because
nice area.
it's 18 miles to her house and it's 18 miles to Tucson for me.
Thanks everybody for coming. Well, I'll let Ken
All
start
right,
us
are we
off today.
recording?
We are
All right. Well, so it's now, what is it?
3:32.
3:32 on March 4th. This is the Public Education Participation and Outreach Committee meeting for the White Green Basin Roundtable. Ken Brenner, Chair. Sally Caribou is here as our Pepo liaison. Who else we got? We have Marco Sullivan,
Mario
Patrick,
Stanko,
Patrick Stanko, of course.
Michelle Mahosky.
Michelle Mahosky. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks for being here. and of course, Steve Hickmeyer, our Basin Roundtable chair. So we've got an agenda here that, Sally, why don't you give us just a quick rundown? What do you got in mind today?
On the agenda, we're going to go over minutes, financial report, quick update from me on what's going to be happening next. Then we have a story map update, which it shouldn't take 50 minutes. We'll be trying to be quick today, but we do have some things that we need a decision and motion on, some uh, invoice overages, and then we are going to talk about the story map. Um, Request for proposal for the advertising that I created and with Kristen Jesperson. And that's kind of it, other than the usual newspaper articles and updates.
All right, so are there any changes, additions, deletions, or a motion to approve as presented?
I'd make that motion, approve as presented.
Thanks, Steve.
Anyone want a
Mario,
second?
you want a second?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I wasn't sure if I should, but I'm happy to.
Thanks,
Okay.
Mario. Anybody that's in attendance can participate fully.
Very well, thank you.
And we were just joined by Kristen Jesperson. Hi, Kristen.
Thanks, Kristen.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
I
Any opposed? All right, we have an agenda. Is there any public comment? Does anybody have any public comment on any item that's not on tonight's agenda?
I do not.
Seeing none, then I think we'll close public comment and we'll move on to our consent agenda. Has everybody had a chance to review the minutes and the financials? And what
The
else?
minutes, I have both minutes
Yeah.
from January and November. November, I left a couple people in attendance off, so I went back and changed that. And then the January minutes are from the last meeting are here also.
Okay, so would anybody like to pull any of these items for further discussion, or is there a motion to approve?
Did that, so Sally, did the minutes get in the directory? Because I looked for them and couldn't find them. Did they get in the
Um,
meeting directory or
they are, yeah.
really?
In January's?
Well, yeah, so January's minutes for today's meeting that we would approve. I couldn't
Yes.
find them.
You know how I go to through it? I go through the Ample White Green Roundtable website and onto our meeting packet, and that's how I get to it because there's several different links sometimes that'll take you to different places in the Google Drive. That one will always take you. They should be there because I just checked it today, so I can check it
Did
now.
did so there's only two files in there. And they're both labeled today's agenda. One's a PDF and the other's a
Oh, the
Word.
minutes are in. They're in the January folder.
Oh,
So sorry about that.
I
But there should
didn't
have been
think.
a hyperlink
Yeah,
on
there
the
was a,
agenda.
yeah, but they are in the January folder, both of them. But I could bring those up if you'd like me to.
Yeah, maybe you could just bring them up and go through them quickly. If I couldn't find them, I don't know if I don't know if Mario or anybody else could find them.
Yep,
I
here
did.
is.
I went through the website as well.
Okay. Did you find
Okay.
the minutes in January then?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, you did better than me.
This is the November, and so I just added Doug Davis and Andy Rossi in if I can get my cursor here, right over here. Voting members present. I had left that off, and that was to be changed. So that was
Are
my
you
correction there.
are you sharing that?
Let me see. Let me stop sharing and I can share this now.
What you were sharing.
Yeah, it changed, I guess. There we go. Okay, right here.
Okay, got it.
Okay. All right, I'll stop sharing here and then I will open up my oh wait, hold on. This is hard to do. Um, and here are January's minutes coming up.
You can also look for these minutes in the link that's in the agenda itself for today's meeting.
So I think the bulk of that last meeting was with Anna talking about the story map update.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that was quite a bit of what we talked about.
Pretty close to everything.
Okay.
And talked about some newspaper article ideas and possible field trips.
All right. So again, would anybody like to pull any of these for discussion or further editing, or is there a motion to approve the consent agenda with those three items?
So moved.
All right. So motion from Hinkemeyer.
I would second Mario.
Thank you. Second, Mario. All right. So we have motion and a second. Any other discussion? That's the purpose of our consent agenda is when we get there, unless if you're reviewing these and you see something that you've got a question on or you want to point out a correction, then you want to contact Sally and tell her what you're noticing, and she can usually take care of that for you right away. Um, if you find something like, say, in the financials and you call and you get an explanation and you're not happy, you don't like the explanation, or there's still concern that you want to express, that would be a good reason to say, I want to pull the financials for further discussion. Otherwise, generally speaking, in order to save time as members of the committee, then we read through this stuff, and when we get to the consent agenda, there's usually, unless there's something very specific that we want to address, a motion to approve. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. And is there anyone opposed? All right, great. So now we're on to the,
I'll do the financials real quick. We'll skip number 5 and just come back to it if that's okay, just since that's
great.
the next order. But these came from Patrick, and so 2026 WSRF grant, we're on track for everything, and I'll go over the story map budget in just a little bit. That's kind of more what everything's being spent on. But again, we're
Hey Sally,
yeah,
can you make those just a little bigger?
you bet. I need to go a little bit big. Is that big enough? Can you see it?
I can see that, yes.
Okay. All right. So we still have 53,000 for a couple of years left. So we're on track for that. Patrick keeps us on track with the print ads. We do have $3,500 that we need to spend in print ads this year. Um, and we have lots of money for any events that we want. And we'll talk
Print,
about the stream map budget in a
print
minute.
ads for what, Sally?
Print ads for Roundtable, for the BIP mostly. And we also have, well, yeah,
We
we
got
wanted to
money
update
from
the print
upper
ads.
this
Go ahead, Patrick.
this This is matched from Upper Yampa. That $3,500 was matched from the Upper Yampa for the WSRF grant, and so they gave
Right.
us the full amount. And I just like to get it off our books too. So it's print ads,
Oh, that's what it is. I'm glad you're
Okay.
here.
match.
Thanks, Patrick.
So can we use that money for like ads for elections, Patrick? That's will be upcoming this November.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's also in the Pepo budget too, so it's but yes.
Okay. Okay.
That's good to keep in mind though, because that was an added expense that
And
we
we
have
do
to
want to
think
try
about.
to spend our 2025 budget because our 2026 budget first, because we have until 29 to finish the WSRF.
Any questions there? Luckily, we have Patrick today. 2026 Pepo grant. Anything special here, Patrick? Other
No, I mean
than,
it's it. We just got it. Sorry, factor off. We just started the grant. They finally got us a contract in December. This contract is getting to be a pain because they keep slipping every month, right? It used to be October, then it was November, now we're in the middle of December. Um, and oh yeah, we gotta start thinking about getting on the agenda for the next one that will still be due in July, June. So anyway, that one's pretty much still. We just started that grant, so
yeah, and we'll go through, that's what most of the story map budget is coming out of. Any questions? Anyone? So we need to make a motion to approve them or
I think we already
you're
approved our
good? Okay.
financials. So I think that was
Yeah.
just an update on where we were at with that. Up, I think we're ready for,
Then I was gonna I have put in my notice to Patrick as the Pepo liaison. I've let Kristen Jesperson know and everybody I work with, Kristen Skronkowski and Elizabeth Schroeder. I emailed her today and let them know that I have a fun new position, an opportunity that I really am excited to take. So I am going to take that, and we are trying our hardest to fill this position. So I've met with Patrick couple weeks ago to try and think about who might be the next person in line. Patrick, you don't know, but I reached out to Mickey Badaraka to see. I thought she might be a potential person. And so we are looking for the next Peppo person. I will be around until May. We do have this RFP to put out. So I would like to get most of that done before anything goes to anybody else. And if we can't find anybody, unfortunately, it'll go to Patrick. So I'd like to try and not have that happen. So if anyone knows of anyone who might want to be a PEPA liaison or would be who you think would be good at this role. So it takes a lot of different there's website, there's email and meetings. So
So Sally,
yeah.
you're leaving the liaison position. Are you are you leaving all of your CAA duties, which like is all of the website stuff you're doing and that sort of thing? That's all
Yes,
that
that's all
you're
part
leaving
of the
all of
PEP.
that?
Yes, so that's all of the PEPO liaison role for
Okay.
the Ag Alliance. Yeah. So
Oh, that's what
yes.
I thought, but I just wanted to ask to make sure.
Yep. Yeah.
so
Yeah, we get a monthly stipend from Ag Alliance. So we subcontract at Western Resilience for this position at this time. Sorry, Kristen, I saw you were gonna say something.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say, I think it would be helpful for recruiting if there was a job description with sort of a projection of the number of hours and the amount of pay available for the position. I'd be happy to share that with anyone I think might be a fit, but that's going to be a helpful tool in doing that recruitment.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. I believe you have that
Yeah.
written up pretty well already because there's a number of duties and they're split between Kristen and Sally. And so it's probably a better job description than we've had yet in the past. So that's a big plus. The number of hours in all is a little hard to use our current numbers because Sally spent so much time, as have you, Kristen, on that um, story map. And so hopefully in 26, we won't have very many additional hours spent on our story map.
And I've
Yeah,
talked
yeah,
with
I would definitely.
Patrick, yeah, and Amber about it. But I don't think Amber wanted to fly, to advertise the job. But I think a good job description would be nice to share within the realm. So I sent that to her. So maybe I'll nudge her a little bit and get that job description out.
Great.
Yeah.
So who are we going to put for the point of contact on that? Is that Steve or Kristen Skowinski or who
Point of contact for.
for the your position?
And we go, since it'd be a contract with Community Agriculture Alliance, it should go to me.
Okay, so then we should, so Pat, everything goes to Patrick. All right, just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page.
All right.
Well, we know that we're not going to be able to replace Sally. She's done a tremendous job. Especially, I know Steve and I really appreciate how attention to detail and things get done when we ask for them to be looked at. Often they're done before we hang up the phone. So it's going to be tough to find someone that replaces her, but we do need a Pepo liaison, and we have a May statewide Pepo update. There's only two a year, so it's be an important meeting if we can identify someone to send them to. Is it Keystone that we're in?
It's Keystone Science School this year.
Yeah, and so we want to send whoever is going to do the replacement to that event so that they have a chance to learn a little bit about what their um, counterparts are doing with the other roundtables and with the Water Conservation Board around the state. So just a heads up on that, and just there's a little bit of urgency there. Also, if we don't get it done, then that means Freddie Krueger, also known as Patrick Stanko, will be back. And we don't want to count on that as an answer for this issue.
We'll find somebody.
We'll find
But we'll spread the word. We'll also, obviously, I'll tell everybody at the round table and share it there
Yeah.
and see if we can find somebody through that route. On to the story map update.
Yes. Unless there's any other comments.
No, we're gonna miss you. We're not gonna let you go, Sally. So just an FYI.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks. I appreciate it. I've learned a ton. Um, so we decided we didn't need a subcommittee meeting last week. We would just kind of talk about the story map update and overages and do the decision in motion on edits and overages. So um, Kristen Jesperson and I talked about some possible money set aside for administering the contract, this RFP for advertising. So we have um, we have a timeline of a couple months for a contractor to do this advertising. So that means, getting them under contract, telling them what to do, and following through. So, Kristen, did you have a number in mind, do you think, for that? Maybe it would be like split between Kristen and I since we're kind of splitting the job, or if it's between Kristen and the new person, or however that goes. It's just kind of another task that we haven't thought about. So.
Yeah, I mean, my thought was just that if we hire a contractor, we need someone to oversee the tasks and their work and connect them to the Basin Roundtable. I am happy to serve in that capacity with you leaving, Sally, especially since whomever fills your shoes probably won't have the level of knowledge and context on that project. So I don't have a good sense for like what that budget would look like, but we can work through that. I was just thinking we carve out a little bit of money for that to cover the time because as we've learned, these projects take a little more time than you expect. Um, but I know Sally has put together sort of a description for what that contract could look like and has someone in mind who could do that work. So that should be pretty easy and relatively straightforward, hoping all those pieces come together.
And remember, Michael works for the Water Conservation Board and has put together some infographics that will be one source of potential content for our ads. And then we have whatever else we want to, have emphasize that it's unique to our basin. But we do need to, we have set aside some money, and that would probably be one of the primary tasks that we have for our Pepo liaison this next year. So, Kristen, thanks for being willing to kind of fill in during that transition period.
Appreciate that. And I think it's her and I together because a lot of it is, as you'll see, we'll go through this RFP in a minute, but part of it's geared towards the story map and part of it's geared towards advertising for the BIP. So that's kind of and really, Kristen doesn't need to worry about advertising for the BIP. And the timeline is so accelerated that a lot of this work can get done while I'm still around. So I'm happy to help and see most of this through and to see it through.
Thanks, Sally.
Of course. So yeah, we're just saying let's just be open to some possible money to be set aside. We'll keep our hours that we're thinking about this, but it is just kind of extra. And we're just trying to think about this before we have to do the ask later. So the other thing is we're thinking of setting aside some yearly money, a retainer for Anna to do some updates every year. So whether it be $500, something like that, that's not that many hours. Since she's $100 an hour, but just if we have updates, things we really want to change, just so she's willing to stay around and work for us.
So that would be kind of a placeholder, and maybe $500 is a good number to put in. We can always make adjustments if necessary. But I believe that the consensus from the group, and now would be a good time to say if differently if you don't agree, but we are pretty well done. We're not going to move into a phase two on the story map. We're going to use it the way it is right now and have plenty of time to sort out anything that we would like to put more emphasis on or that is things that are missing altogether, stuff like that. But uh, is what from your perspective, Kristen, what are you thinking? We need at least the rest of this school year, if not next year as well, just in that using the version that we have today. What are your thoughts?
I don't know what the timeline is on that exactly. I would just like to get the campaign to get the word out and have it be used and see how it goes, and then get the feedback from people. I think the way that Sally and I were thinking about it was distribute it with the opportunity for people to provide input on what's working, what's not, how it could be improved, and then maybe we take a look at that 6 months in or 9 months in, depending kind of on the amount of feedback we're getting, and then go from there to determine is a phase two or building out this section something that this group would want to do and invest in and go from there. But I think it's going to be more reactive than like proactive at this point. As you're saying, I'd like to see how people interact with it, and have an opportunity to provide us with feedback because we may not need a phase two.
That could be another possibility. So we'd like to have a motion to set aside like $500 or some amount that's earmarked specifically for the rest of 2026 for any updates after the completion of this current editing that we're doing for the rest of the year for Anna and the Four Corners group.
I'd make that motion, Ken.
All right, so we have a motion for $500 to be set aside for Anna Reiling to do these updates through 2026 from Hinkmeyer.
So this is Munger, I'll second, but I do have a comment. So,
Okay,
and
a second from Doug, and Doug, the floor is yours.
yeah, so just quickly back to Kristen's comment. I would like us to put this thing to bed for right now and
Yeah.
say that it's to bed. And that way we move on. And then when we come back with something else that we need to change it, I appreciate the Anna maybe needing to make some tweaks or whatever to it. But if this is going to be a continuing work project, I really have some skepticism about how we're going to get this out and who's going to see it and make sure that we get our monies out of what we got in it. So that's just my comments. I think I'd just like to see it end, put it to bed, and then put it to likely to bed, and then see if it needs to be resurrected at a later point in time. That's my idea anyhow. So that's me talking here. Thank you.
That's fine, Doug. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, and we had like five. I tried to email Anna to see if this last $1,600 on D her invoice was her last because we have five more edits to talk about that we talked about at the last subcommittee meeting. Very small things. So I just want to make sure that she's available if we need her. So that's what that's for. And we are going to take a break after this year. We're taking a break. Gonna see how these Google Analytics shake out and then go from there. But yeah, definitely we need a break. And Steve, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, Steve, got your hand up.
Nope, I'm good. You answered my question.
Okay.
Now, Kristen, could you let us, okay, so we have a motion. Did I get a second?
Doug seconded.
Yeah, I seconded it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
thank
right.
you.
That was Doug. Doug did our second. Thank you. Kristen, I wanted to ask you real quick. You use this story map frequently in your outreach to the schools, correct?
Yes, so we're just launching the outreach. It was included in our newsletter today. We're going to be reaching out to teachers through our teacher newsletter. And Sally and I have an overall campaign that we're going to work on between now and before she leaves to get the word out. And that will include some directives for all of you in your outreach so that you can use this tool as well.
Well, and not only that, but you are the one who is directly in contact with the various superintendents and principals in all the various school districts throughout Northwest Colorado. So you're an appropriate face to make sure that when you or your representative from Yampa-Tika is attending an event in their school, that you have a chance to share this tool with them and let them know that it's available for their use.
Yes, absolutely. And we'll be sharing it at the State of the Yampa, State of the
Outstanding.
River meetings
That's
that are
next Monday,
happening. Yeah.
starting Monday. Okay, good, good. All right. Any other comments? All in favor, say aye.
I
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So we're not planning to spend the $500, but we want Anna to know that she does have a contingency here in case. And this just keeps us from having to get together again and have another supplemental appropriation to pay to square things up with it. So hopefully that's the last expenditure in the near future for the story map. So that we're done with B, we have a decision. Um,
And I just want to note that Anna did work at a reduced rate of $75 an hour rather than her usual 100 to for this last D invoice. So she's got her last invoice was for $1,600, and I think we wanted to have a decision in motion if it was over $1,000. So, I think it was $1,200, but so it's $400 over. So we wanted to bring it to the committee. But these are edits directly related to this changing of the project and the edits that we asked her to do. So she did do it at a lower rate, and was very gracious about it. So I'm personally hoping that we can pay her. And I think, like I said, this is the end of it. She's back from her river trip. She's got a couple tweaks to make, but other than that, it's been live for a while. So we need a
I,
decision
I'm,
and a motion.
hey Ken, I'm in favor of making that motion. If we ask Anna to make it, then we should pay for it. The amount doesn't is not it's not an overwhelming amount, and it was necessary for the work that she did. So I would make that motion
Thank you,
to
Steve. So we have
accept the
Steve
$1,600
Hinkler is
invoice.
approving the $1,600 invoice for additional edits.
Did someone second that?
Yeah, Munger second.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
All right, so we have a motion and a second on the 1,600. I think we're going to have a chance to really show this off. We have that statewide meeting coming up. I'd be happy to share this at IBCC. I think we want to try to get it in front of the Colorado Water Conservation Board for like a quick 5-minute demo, just to give them a heads up on what, they spent some of their money on, and never hurts to brag a little bit about what we've gotten accomplished. And there's a pretty good chance that we may see some additional story map projects associated with the Basin Roundtables here in the next couple of years. So we'll see what happens.
Through Anna, yeah. And Kristen, I didn't include your idea for presenting the story map. Maybe later you could, at the end, you could tell us what your about the kiosk, your kiosk idea.
Okay.
But I forgot to add that. I
Well,
apologize.
let's come back to that in a
Yep.
second. Any other comments on this motion? All in favor say aye.
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 I
Aye.
Is there anyone opposed? All right, thank you. Thank you for that. That's some good housekeeping that we now have finished.
Thanks.
Kristen, the floor is yours.
Sorry, just had to unmute myself. Well, this is actually Michelle's idea. She is our obviously our water education coordinator and the person who will be reaching out with this resource. And Michelle, I don't know if you have thoughts, not to put you on the spot, but for something like this, it's nice to have a kiosk, like a station where you have a digital tool and you can actually access and interact with the resource when you're out and about at, say, festivals or outreach events, or in any situation. So that would be a way for more people to be able to see and interact with and use this resource. I don't know if now is the time for us to seriously consider it, since we are I'm sensing a sense of fatigue about it, but it is an opportunity that we have potentially moving forward. I don't have a good sense for the cost of something like that, so I'd have to do some research. But Michelle, do you have any thoughts or additions to this recommendation?
I I agree with you on all platforms. Just I do think people are wanting some closure with this project. However, that being said, I do think um, a physical kiosk type um something that is hands-on, that can travel and be at different community, even libraries and events and just places in the community. It certainly could be shared. It just seems that that would be the way to reach, I guess, the broadest audience. In that sense, just even with the libraries, I feel like just the amount of traffic. And I know at Bud Werner Library, they have that short story kiosk, which it's very popular and does great. Um, and there are other traveling water education exhibits that have really shown that's a good way to reach an audience. I don't know. So those were my thoughts, but I also agree that um, I don't know, maybe phase two or in the future, I guess.
Well, we can call phase one is the production of the document and the story map, and the phase two is the implementation or sharing of it. And so, be happy to hear any specific proposal that you want to make regarding expenditures that create this kiosk concept. So, if you'd like to do some investigation, please feel free to bring back some kind of an idea or even a proposal if you have something that you really like.
Yeah, right
Okay,
now we're sharing
awesome.
them
Yeah,
on our laptops, so that's how we're sharing them now. Patrick's got his hand
Patrick, you have an idea?
Just want to talk about too is like, as you're thinking about that though, I mean, I need to know who's, as I'm thinking about writing the grant that would cover this through the Pepo grant, I need to know who is going to actually own who we're buying this for, because I don't think the roundtable can own equipment. So to keep that in mind, if you're gonna, I mean, I'm not gonna shoot down this idea, but
here.
we need to figure out who's gonna own it, and then two, to actually make, just to keep this guys in mind, and I should have probably had Sally put this on the thing, is that in May we have to show the proposed TEPO grant to the roundtable to get buy off, and so I need to actually get that onto
Yeah,
grants
and I
for
did.
For the 2027.
Yeah, thank you
the
for that reminder, Patrick.
2027. So if
Yeah,
that's something you guys want to do, we need to know quickly. So
that's a good point.
who you're selling, who's buying it, who we're buying this for, and then is who's actually going to own it, because they're going to have that responsibility to maintain that. And then so the roundtable can't. And then yeah, and then cost. So thank you.
Thanks. Yes, and I know Sally has agreed to help with the development of that budget. So we need to propose a budget and get it to the state in June. So that means that we have to approve that at the roundtable level in May. In case you hadn't figured out, that's right away. So we do want to get that together. Patrick, did you have something else?
I think that was it. I think it's Mariano.
I think okay. Patrick took his hand down. So Mario.
Is there a short list of potential owners then? That's an interesting point.
Well, it would right now, just given the context here, I would think Yampatika would have to be considered a favorite, if not the Community Ag Alliance.
Sure, that makes sense. Thank you.
Interesting idea, though, but yes, something that we want to consider. And who knows, there may even be a bigger role for Yampa-Tika to play in this PEPA liaison discussion. There's without question a lion's share of what we get accomplished in a year comes from the work that they've done and with the support of the WSRF funds. So, we'll meet here sometime in the future, Kristen, and just kick around some ideas about what that might look like. But I wanted to give you a heads up and plenty of time to think about that. And just what, if any, perhaps expanded involvement with the PEPO committee you and your organization may want to have in the future. So we'll just leave it at that for right now. Sally, what else do you got for us?
Okay, moving on to E. I did set up the Google Analytics for the story map. There is clearly a story map page, and I'm gonna stop sharing. No worries. Share again here. All right, so I did set up the Google Analytics for the story map, so you can see that we have had, with very little advertisement, we've had some interaction. So 159 hits to the story map, things like that. So you can go on a deep dive into the reports of the analytics, but I think this will give us a good number to look at after we start doing some advertising. So we'll take pre-numbers and post numbers and things like that.
And one of the things that we want to do is when we're ready is show this to the press and try to get a, with today's technology, we can have a short presentation that we do just showing that how the story map works and have a link with the newspaper and perhaps that might increase the visibility and the potential users.
Okay, I am going to move on and reshare my screen again. Back to the agenda. So this is just the story map budget that we were talking about earlier. This is everything that we've spent for the story map right here. And I think in hindsight, we got an excellent deal. And I'm really proud of what we have for that price. I don't think it could be duplicated for that price again. So, but everything, all the financials are there. So we'll skip on down and onto the marketing request for proposal for the story map marketing and roundtable print ads. So like Patrick said, we were thinking of some print ads. We haven't done some in a couple years. And we do have those new infographics we'd like to get out. So I'm going to open up this request for proposal and share that. And so I'll just kind of go through this and really um, I've sent out some emails and it's on the agenda, so take a look at it. And I'm going to skip down to really the deliverables and what we're thinking about in the timeline. So, like Ken mentioned, Kristen and I were thinking that there would be a story map press release. We do have an accelerated timeline, so we're trying to get this out while it's spring and summer. We were thinking of having I haven't been doing social media. It is not something I'm good at all. So I haven't done hardly any of it. And for the story map, social media I think is extremely important. So coming up with like a template just to put on to put your story
Facebook.
on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
So it's just a template guide, nothing crazy. To create and schedule 5 story map social media posts that we can just kind of keep rotating through. To create one story map print advertisement and a one pager for the story map to share with different stakeholders. So when we do our outreach, that we can have something really nice to send to people about our story map. Also, for presentations, maybe a 5-minute PowerPoint. Those always come up, especially for these state meetings. And it just would be nice to have something while it's all being created for the next liaison to have done. Um, this final story map, yeah, that's just so that's just number 7 is taking the advertising products, presenting it to the roundtable and getting your feedback and incorporating that into the product. And then we were thinking of pivoting to the BIP and creating 5 print ads using the state provided infographics and the same 5 social media posts and some other roundtable print ads. Social media ads, and again, feedback from the roundtable. So it's kind of twofold, nothing crazy. I think we have $7,000 to $8,000 to do this, we're thinking smaller. I don't think this will be a huge amount of work. But what we're asking from the contractors is to give us a bid. So we're not saying we have this amount of money. We want to get a bid from them and then move forward
So the
with the
the the
contractors.
the number that she just mentioned should just kind of disappear. So we're going to see what kind of without telling anybody how much money we have, we'll just see what kind of proposals we get, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, something somewhere about not more than half of that money we can take a look at. Patrick, is that you? Oh, Steve.
Yeah, hey Sally, when you get those bids, are you gonna get bids by line item? So we know if there's something in there that we're kind of iffy about whether we want it or not. It's really could be
Good.
price prohibitive.
That's a
So
good idea.
yeah, if you could get just, I mean, we can add it all together, but I always like to get line items just in case there's something that I'm asking for that's extremely expensive and I don't know it.
Sounds
Perfect.
perfect. Yeah, I'll take any suggestions since this is my first RFP. So I will do that. But this is what we're going to be asking for them, their company profile, approach, examples of work, their timeline. Can they commit to our timeline that we're talking about? So um part of what we'd be asking today is to approve this RFP for a release date. Here it's 3/26. We would probably start advertising it immediately. And then I have 3/20. Yeah, so that's this month. Proposals would be due in a couple weeks. So we would be advertising for a couple weeks, and we followed this timeline is almost exactly the same as the story map timeline for that RFP. So I think we can do it. Kristen and I have a couple people in mind. One is a woman named Julia Hubbard, who's I've worked with at Western Resilience, and I think Kristen's worked with her at Yambatika. And we've got a couple ideas for some to advertise in newsletters. River District and River Network will advertise for us. So, um, how does that sound to everybody?
So we have had one suggestion to amend the RFP to have a line item on each of the deliverables so that we know how much they want to spend both individually on the task as well as collectively as an overall bid. Are there any other changes or additions, deletions that you'd like to see in this, or is there a motion to approve this with the RFP with that one amendment?
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anybody down in Moffat County that's doing that sort of work. Mario, are you aware of anybody in Rangeley that does that sort of thing?
It does not sound familiar to me, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Thanks, Mario. Yeah, I think
I
we probably have a more of that nucleus of professionals in this area here.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
I'd make the motion, Ken, to
Okay,
approve
thank you.
that going out for bid with that list of deliverables.
Okay, we have a motion, Hinkmeyer,
I will second Mario.
second Solomon. Thank you very much, both of you. Any further comments on this? Thanks for getting this RFP together, Sally and Kristen.
Oh yeah, you bet.
So what do you thinking, Sally? Two or three different vendors?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I think so.
Okay. It'd be great to see three, but if there's not three, that's okay. Definitely
Yep.
need two.
Sounds like a plan. I'll get that out there starting tomorrow.
Further comments, questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
I
Aye.
Has
uh
any, does
I'll
any,
I'll just say one more thing real quick. If I'll ask Vanessa if they are working on, like, do have RFPs out or have done anything like that, and if they have anything to share, I'll let y'all know just to be sure.
Well, thanks, Mario. And you may not have anybody that wants to address this RFP, but you may have someone that's fairly active in social media work, and we might be wanting to use their network to get this out once we're ready for it.
Ah, Roger that. Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
All right. Was there anyone opposed to the amendment or to the motion rather? All right, great. We have a motion approving the RFP process. So
All
what else
right,
do you have
thanks.
for us?
All right. Well, Kristen briefly touched on our distribution ideas for the story map, but like we said, it does require, we are thinking about a press release and such. So we do have a whole list of stakeholders. I won't open it up for you, but we have created a list of people from our various contacts. So I would love it, and I'll bring this up at the round table. If you could take a look and just add people. The more people we get out there to share it, the better. So we just want to put a lot out there. And just the ideas that we were thinking about are the infographics from the state. And I thinking about the IBCC topics, like storage and agriculture and education, but I think we're not exactly sure on that right now as print ad ideas. So I think they'll focus on the infographics right now, unless people have other ideas. Anything else, Ken?
No, I can't think of anything. That sounds good.
Okay, moving on. We do have some story map. I did start creating a story map article, and it's not fleshed out all the way, but I did want to have it kind of preloaded before I get busy in the spring. And I set these dates up in the fall, so I'm just kind of guessing at what dates I wanted to have articles. So May seemed a little late. So I asked Cassie at Ag Alliance. If she has some openings, if people forget there's articles, we'll pop our story map article in and get that out earlier. Um, so then we'll have another article due in July. So maybe that might be a IBCC topic.
Yeah.
Other than that, just our possible field trip ideas, just like last meeting, we were thinking more like July, September. For and like September, Steamboat Meeker for those possible field trip ideas. I guess that's to be determined with whatever happens next.
Yeah, this will probably be part of the discussion. Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll probably be discussing this at the executive committee meeting which follows immediately. And I think what we proposed, we haven't, I don't think, made a final decision, but what we've proposed is continuing to have our regular Basin Roundtable meetings in Craig, but to choose two dates, one that would be for the White River and one that would be up for the Steamboat Springs area. And we would, with those two dates, and we're suggesting July and September, one July would be either up in Steamboat or in Meeker and vice versa with the September meeting. So those would be the two meetings that would be held in conjunction with a tour in that basin or in the White River or up here in Steamboat Springs. So that's Steve, do you have any other comments on that?
No, just what you and I talked about yesterday, Ken. I think July is a great time to go to Meeker. There's a lot of agriculture, field flooding, those sorts of things going on. Um, I think they'll be receiving their money, the conservation district that we gave them or matched some money for them so they could start their program kind of like the Upper Yampa for work on their or fire restoration. Um, so I think that'd be a good time to go to Meeker and talk about that. And then September's always a great time to come up to Steamboat, and I'd leave it up to some Steamboat folks to kind of figure out what it is that they might want to show us up there. There's a lot of different projects going on. Um, so we're looking for a 2, 3 hour. I don't think we're looking for more than a 2 or 3 hour type of tour. Maybe look at a couple of different projects and then have our meeting and send people home. So
Yeah, Mario?
So would the White River / Meeker tour include a visit to the Lee Fire burn scar?
We were thinking that that would be one of the priorities.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, and but we want to leave that up to the individual basin as well. Now, I've asked Sally to help us kind of rough together an outline of what those tours might look like, just to so that the new Pepo liaison doesn't have to start from scratch. But Sally's going to be gone long before all the details are flushed out. So we will do that. So I think Steve will be making an announcement at the meeting next week about those dates, pending an approval by the executive committee later today. And that way, both the White River and Steamboat Springs can begin discussing what kind of projects they want to prioritize. We did do a White River tour last year. We still haven't really come up and done one in Steamboat Springs, so there's probably a pretty good list of small projects. But fortunately, that we have a fairly small area that we're talking about, so we can see a number of different projects in a fairly short length of time. And now that we've moved Pepo to a different day, that kind of frees up some additional time on that meeting day itself. So, does that sound reasonably accurate, Steve?
yeah, my thought is get Chris Collins to help us with the Meeker part of the
Mm-hmm.
tour in July
Mm-hmm.
and probably get Frank to
Yep.
help assist plan out
Frank,
something for the
Frank and
steamboat.
Julie. Yeah, I think that the two of them, between the two of them, excellent. Okay, that sounds good. Mark, we can, a thumbs up from Mario. That's good. All right, that's our field trip ideas.
So, I guess one of the things I want to get out of that is so cognizance and understanding of the financial impact. I mean, talking to Commissioner Scritchfield and the rest, the power line poles and the rest that got wiped out. It's like $8 million or something like that. And so it's just mind-boggling the volume and the numbers on that. So I don't know that I get it every time I go to Junction, I get an up and close personal view of the fire scar, but
Yeah.
13. But I'm just aghast by the
some of the concerns. I know Mark
magnitude and the
Harbor.
dollar
Excuse me,
figure.
Doug. Somebody needs to mute, and I'm not sure who it is.
Yeah.
What's going on there? Everybody looks like they're
Okay.
okay.
We can hear. Okay, go ahead, Doug.
I'm sorry, Doug. Please continue.
It could have been me. I'm watching the CPW meeting too. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Well, we're having trouble hearing. We're having trouble hearing you. You're the noisy kid.
Got it. Okay. Upcoming events, Ag Appreciation Week, March next week or 2 weeks from now. And that's all we have.
Well, we also have State of the Yampa.
That's true.
That's going to be starting Monday in Steamboat and Craig on Tuesday. What else do we have a number of dates there that we want to.
Well, those are on the website and but yes, but they will be passed after the roundtable. So next Monday, the State of the Yampa is in Steamboat.
Yeah, it's up at Olympian Hall. And remember, they feed you. It's a decent meal.
6 to 8. And in Craig on Tuesday, again, dinner 6 to 8 at the rodeo arena. And that's
Are they doing one in the White River? I'm sure they are.
They are. I don't have that. It is on the website.
Okay.
Actually.
All right. Well, then what?
Yeah, it's way later. The White River one's later, but if you pull up the
I think it's April 11th. I'm planning on going.
yeah, right there. Yeah. Just click on that button,
April.
Sally. Stay of the
April.
river button.
Yeah, that's for Steamboat and Craig though. I don't
No,
have,
if you click on the button,
It's the 16th, April 16th.
there we go.
April 16th.
Yeah,
Wow.
it is late.
That is way later.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, here they are.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Okay, I'll put that on the website.
Excellent. Okay.
All right, that's all I have.
I think that's pretty close to the agenda. You want to run through and do any partner updates real quick here? I believe we still have plenty of time.
I didn't get any from anybody.
Well, we
Maybe
can
the
just do
two,
them
but
orally.
yeah.
Let's start off with Yampatika. You want to give us a quick update, Kristen or Michelle?
Yes, I can do that. Our biggest update right now, we are kind of charging ahead with as one of the leaders in climate education for the state of Colorado, working with the Department of Ed to develop the seal of climate literacy. So as of now, we have 189 ninth grade students in the Steamboat Springs High School school district that are on track. They are one third of the way completed with that. It's actually a diploma endorsement that they get that allows them to gain knowledge, skills, and career opportunities in each of these local communities, with Steamboat kind of being the forerunner with this. So that's kind of exciting and new. As far as looking ahead, really finishing strong with a busy and successful 25-26 school year, and kind of getting into our springtime programming, and really looking to be ahead of our projected numbers. And yeah, just another successful school year for us. So
Outstanding. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You know, and
thank you.
and we inherently are the most logical people to be spreading the word on the availability of this story map. So please take every opportunity to mention to folks that, especially the ones that are in the field of education or sharing of information, that this is a valuable new tool that they want to be aware of. Friends of the Yampa. I don't believe we have anyone. Upper Yampa, no Holly today. White River, Douglas Creek Conservation. Anybody in the White River have any update?
I don't think I'm the official spokesperson for that conservation district.
You
So
are officially right now.
Yeah, you could
well,
become.
I'll tell you what, the only update I will give in reference to that is I recently judged the Envirothon in Denver, and I don't know if y'all are familiar with that event, but it's a
No.
conservation district uh competition for high school students that is put on in Denver as a state competition, and then the winner actually gets to go to a national level. Uh, the
Wow.
only reason I wanted to mention it is there were no teams from the Western Slope. And so I would really love to maybe work with Yampatika or some others to get some Western Slope representation at that event, perhaps next year or sometime in the future. Um, it's definitely a an interesting competition in the sense that it is obviously environmental issues, but it has the agriculture focus that the districts have, and I think we sort of share that vision too in the roundtable. So
Do the
something to
does
consider.
does the CSU Extension Office representatives, are they aware of this competition?
Yeah, sorry. So I should have mentioned that too. Yes, they are, and it is housed or takes place rather at the CSU Spur
Okay.
down there by the
Oh, okay.
stockyards.
Yep, that makes sense. Huh, interesting. Patrick, did you have anything with the Ag Alliance?
He stepped off.
Oh,
He
we
had to
did?
step off.
Okay, well then,
Ag Week,
Ag
17th
Week.
through the 24th.
All right, good. Good, good. Thanks, Mario. Western Resilience Center.
I've got nothing really.
Yeah, they're just really busy with a lot of stuff going on. So they did a community meeting here recently about the drought, just talking about the current status of where we're at, which is pretty humbling what we were up against. So that's that was it made it into the newspaper, so that's good. Helps create that awareness. We can't talk about the drought too much, especially given how poorly the negotiations on the Colorado River are going right now, and with really nothing but uncertainty about how this is all going to end up. Um, any community ag alliance update? Any other? The only thing I would say is just for this group that may not be a part of the rest of the roundtable next week, the Interbasin Compact Committee did meet about 10 days ago. And that was quite an interesting experience. We had hoped to begin sharing the feedback that we had for them with the uh, storage discussion. And we did read, one of the first things we did was read those short summaries from each of the basins. So we just took 15 minutes and everybody had a copy of everybody's reports and we scanned through them. And then that was the last time we talked about them. We spent the entire day from 9 in the morning until 4 o'clock trying to decide on a criteria for developing consensus about a message that we want to convey as the collective consensus of IBCC. I'm sure most of you would think this was the most mind-numbing thing that you could possibly do. But we did manage to get, because we have the room's got over 20 people that all have an opinion. So we had quite an exchange of ideas, but we did end up ultimately with a pretty good idea about how to proceed. But Doug must be cabbing already.
Checking out the cows, yep.
So anyway, we will be punting that back to the subcommittee for the IBCC, which I'm also serving on, and we'll be continuing to work on that. We will do preserving ag, but there is talk about postponing that and not doing it next. But it's because it's probably the most daunting of all the topics that we have. I'm going to suggest strongly that the next topic, once we complete storage, is to dive into education and communication. It's kind of central to everything that we're doing with this, and it's probably a little easier ask. Plus, we do have some money sitting in a fund that we could possibly tap into. So that's my thoughts on where we're at with IBCC, and I don't have anything else.
So I mentioned here is for you and Steve, really, and for us all. So, you know, we used to have a champion for the Big River thing and the rest, and then now we're still having all of these Big River, discussions. And just Ken, just like you said, while there's frustration that Colorado didn't cave in, we didn't just succumb to everybody else and say, oh no, we're gonna give, even though we met the compact call, we've met the compact, we've been in total compliance and everything. And the only reason we're in this situation is the lower river has been overusing their water for the last 30 years. And so I'm frustrated a little bit. And then I see these articles with Ann Castle and then Eric Kuhn. I think both of those two would sell us out in a heartbeat, as far as I'm concerned. They think, oh, well, Colorado's got to make some accommodation. Well, hell no, we don't need them. We're using 3.3 or 4 million acre feet a year versus our 7.5 that we're supposed to get. And all of these things, we continue to deliver water down to Lee's Ferry in our compact compliance. Even, this will be the first year that we won't meet the compact compliance numbers, probably, because our system is going to provide 3 million acre feet total in the upper basin, sounds like. So I'm really concerned about, some of, I mean, and I'll have to just throw out as many accolades as I can for Becky Mitchell, man. She has hauled the water for us and she's held up her own. And man, I just can't believe how people, oh, we need to make some accommodations. Well, hell no, we don't. Whatever. So I'm sorry. So I went on my rampage, but anyhow, so life's been short here too. My cows are supposed to come back from Nebraska tomorrow, so I'm supposed to have all of that.
Well, good, because we were worried about you getting bored out there, Doug.
Oh my God.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt that Becky and Amy and I think the Phil Weiser in the Attorney General's office are all over this. They have been preparing, during the negotiations for things to fall apart, and it appears that we may be getting closer to that point. So who knows exactly what the rest of the year is going to bring? But we did get another. We did not spend the entire IBCC meeting. We did have about 20 minutes of Amy right at the very end of the day. So we do have the most current slides from her to share next week. So nothing hugely consequential or different, but at least it's the latest version of what they're working on, and I think we will continue to see their persistence with their tenets that they have followed from the beginning of the negotiations. And all we can do is wonder what the Bureau, because it looks like it's going to fall into the hands of the Bureau of Reclamation and potentially litigation is sort of
Yeah, so
where it seems
the
to be going.
interesting part though too is that, well, we want Colorado to just, bow under and we give up whatever, but nobody's ever said, our ag rights are much superior than the Trans Mountain diversions. The Trans Mountain diversions are 60s and 70s, 50s, 60s and 70s. And our irrigation water rights are all pre-compact. So people are not talking about, well, we're going to just cut back and Colorado's going to have some savings and the rest. We're going to have some savings. Well, the savings needs to come out of the Trans Mountain diversions because they're the first ones going to be hit. Just so,
Yeah.
and nobody's saying any of that either. So,
Well, I think they're acutely aware. Mario, you have a comment?
Well, no, just a question real quick. So, as a Pepo member, for outreach, I mean, how can we get this out? Because I get frustrated too, and I'm not even, trying to deliver water to a field or a cow or whatever. But when they say Colorado ag producers own 70 to 80% of the water, numbers like that get completely out of context. I mean, they might have the water rights, but here we go again to Doug's point. We're naturally curtailing, right? Because we don't have the water in the ditch or
Correct.
whatever. And so is there an opportunity for us to help right this discussion?
Yeah,
I
there
guess
is.
is my
And
big question.
yeah, I think that we will continue to see the importance of the Division of Water Resources. And I know many people on the roundtable have real apprehension about the state engineer's office and the representatives for the Division of Water Resources up here in Northwest Colorado. But I'll tell you what, if you're not measuring and reporting your water use, then you're part of the problem. Because when you have a water right for 5 CFS and you've barely been able to get 3, and on a bad year, you maybe get 2, and you're not reporting that, then our arguments just seem anecdotal and without any real substantive proof. So
That's
those
fair.
records are
That's a good point. Yeah.
critical to showing what's going on. That, yeah, we may have the water rights, but we don't have the water. And that's the argument that we've failed to make convincingly yet. So we're not done, but and this won't end magically at the end of in October of 2026. This is going to go on. That we're and so the importance of really making sure that we have our measuring devices in place and that we're reporting our water use that confirms that even though we have good water rights, we don't have a water supply. And that's why we're not overusing our water supply up here. So just that's a message that we can convey. It's not a, just set those personality issues and remember the importance, the critical importance of collecting that data and sharing it. So without further comments, we can close about 15 minutes early here and give everybody a chance to take a break and come back at 5 o'clock for the executive committee meeting. Thank
Thanks,
you, everybody,
Rocky.
for being here today.
Thanks,
Sally,
Rocky.
so
Going
sorry
my
to
rant.
hear that you're going to leave.
Thanks,
Yeah, I'm
Sally.
sorry. Thanks, you guys.
Thanks,
I'll
Sally.
still be around for a while. I got a lot of work to do. I got to start tomorrow.
Yep.
Bye, thank you.
Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
Thanks,
Have a good night.
everybody. All right, bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
You done recording?